Tonight's story begins with a man who somehow went from singing Christopher Cross songs in a rusty '76 Monte Carlo to becoming one of Hollywood's most iconic faces. Yes, George Clooney. Proof that even mullets, rusted cars, and questionable hammers can evolve into movie star magic. He walks onto the stage like it's the easiest thing in the world, and before he even starts talking, the room melts. But the first thing on his mind? Christopher Cross, of all things. That's Clooney, romantic at heart even when he doesn't mean to be. Growing up in Kentucky, listening to Sailing in the Car, imagining life somewhere beyond the cornfields, and yes, probably hitting those high notes with more confidence than accuracy. And then he casually reveals that he used to drive a Monte Carlo with rust and duct tape on the back that literally read "Danger Car." Imagine George Clooney in a car that looks like it's begging the police to pull it over. Who would have guessed? But the real chaos? That bumper sticker he stuck on Pitt's Prius. A giant pot leaf with the message guaranteed to get you pulled over by every cop from Malibu to Santa Monica. If friendship doesn't include sabotaging your best friend's vehicle, is it even friendship? Then comes the wild twist, the Grizzly 2 movie. His very first film job, before the fame, before the Oscars, before the charm became powerful enough to stun entire audiences. He was 23 in Budapest, acting alongside a 15-year-old Laura Dern and a bear that didn't even exist. Just a man waving a paw puppet like a drunk puppeteer. And because the universe has a sense of humor, the production ran out of money. They were stranded in communist Budapest for 2 months, eating paprika chicken like it was the only thing grown on earth. Yes, George Clooney, the future heartthrob, stuck in a Cold War food loop with Charlie Sheen and a fake bear paw. And then, decades later, someone digs up the unused footage, edits it together, and releases it as if George Clooney starred in it on purpose. Imagine waking up one morning, minding your business, drinking your coffee, and suddenly discovering you're the star of a movie that should have stayed buried under a paprika farm. Our journey moves to the '80s TV era, where Clooney made his sitcom debut. And oh, the hair. That glorious early-stage mullet. The kind of haircut that whispers, "My stylist had a dream, and unfortunately, I believed in them." He played a carpenter on The Facts of Life, which is cute, until he reveals the prop guy just shoved a hammer in his hand and said, "Here, hold this." And like any young actor desperate for a break, Clooney held that hammer like it was the key to his career, his destiny, and maybe his future as a very confused handyman. And even funnier, he and some of the cast had basically the same haircut. One salon, one vision, one mullet for all. Then comes the Floby saga. Clooney, during lockdown, cutting everyone's hair. Not with scissors, not with clippers, with a vacuum. A vacuum. And he admits he absolutely would carve something horrible on the back of someone's head for fun. And honestly, we all believe him. But the wildest moment? His story about grabbing Marvelous Marvin Hagler, yes, the legendary boxer, by the face in a nightclub. Clooney, drunk and confused, tired of being punched in the chest, grabs a boxing legend's face and says, "If you hit me again, I'm gonna knock your block off." The next morning, when his friend tells him the truth, he realizes he should not be alive. But somehow, fate needed him for future movies and spared him that night. And then Clooney lights up when talking about doing Good Night and Good Luck live on stage. More than 100 shows, 1,000 pages of lines. And now, like the rest of us, he jokes about forgetting words, forgetting names, forgetting the whole alphabet some days. Getting older is funny when you treat it like he does, with charm, with honesty, and with the kind of humor that makes the audience feel a little less terrified of birthdays. And then Mike Tyson shows up. Clooney has never met him before, and the mix of excitement and quiet fear is almost adorable. This is the Clooney effect. He can talk about meeting Mike Tyson like it's the most magical moment of his week. But the charm keeps rolling. basketball stories with Adam Sandler, decades of friendship, the kind of banter that feels like a sitcom waiting to be written. Clooney admits he used to be better than Adam. He also admits he's gotten old, yet somehow he still looks like he wakes up glowing. And the baseball clip, the one Jimmy keeps ready at all times, because embarrassing Clooney is a national treasure. The conversation shifts to the new movie, J. Kelly, the one Noah Baumbach wrote with Clooney in mind. Clooney jokes that maybe Noah just asked everyone else first and he was the cheap option. But beneath the jokes, you can feel it, the gratitude, the pride, the joy of still being wanted in roles made for him. And he laughs about the applause he gets now just for being alive at 64. The way the audience cheers like he survived a volcano. He jokes, "When I was 20 and someone died at 64, I thought they had a great run." Now he is 64, and the joke hits a little differently. But that's Clooney, never taking himself too seriously, even when the world sees him as a legend. And finally, he sends us out with a smile, a movie recommendation, and maybe the softest promise of all: I'll see you in Tuscany. A perfect ending from a man who spent 40 years making the world fall in love with him, one laugh, one story, one terrible haircut at a time. And now, if you enjoyed diving into Clooney's wild, romantic, hilarious journey from mullets to movie magic, make sure to stick around for more stories like this. Your support makes these deep dives possible, and it means the world.